Change can be really scary, and I think that the biggest changes that can come about is when we have to make the decision to start again. When we have built something, we've put time and we've put energy into friendships, situations, places, projects, anything like that. But we get that feeling inside of us. It's like when it's time to leave a job, and you get this feeling inside of you. You can't shake it. Your gut is telling you to go, that it's time to let go. But the more you hold on and the more you keep forcing this thing to stay in your life, to keep persevering because you had an idea or you had a vision of the future and it looked a specific way, and you're like, well, I can't let go of that. Like, I have to keep pushing towards that vision because it has to be real, or I've failed, or I can't live without these people. I can't be alone. But that feeling is never gonna go away, and I made that choice a few years ago to walk a path where I couldn't see in front of me, but I just held onto blind faith. And I trusted that gut feeling, even though it meant that I wasn't going to have any friends for a while. And it meant that I would be invisible to the world for a while, and it meant that things were going to take time. That decision changed my life, and that decision to separate myself from what was toxic and what was holding me back and what I didn't want to be anymore, saying no to the world around me at that time that was reflecting a version of me that I no longer wanted to be. Over the course of that decision to now, I've abandoned many projects, and I remember I was trying to write an album and it just wasn't working. I just kept hitting walls and my creativity wasn't flowing and nothing was cohesive, and I wasn't enjoying it. It was just like I was pushing and pushing and pushing to get this project done, but I wasn't enjoying a single thing about it. It didn't feel right to me. I didn't feel proud of it. I didn't feel like I liked it. And I walk into Slow Boat Records, which is a record shop here in Te Whanganui Atara, and I see this book, and it's about the evolution of punk into post-punk, and the title was Rip It Up and Start Again. And I remember seeing that, and it just struck a chord with me, and that motto has stuck with me since I saw that book and I bought it. I completely scrapped this album, and I ended up getting bronchitis and stayed home, and within a week I wrote my Spirals EP for my solo project, Damia Shako, and it was at that time the most proud I had been and the most closest I had gotten to what I wanted to be expressing musically and artistically and creatively for however many years. And it just clicked, and I was like, this is it. Every single time that I get this feeling with a project, I have to follow it. And this applies to life as well. Every single time that I'm in a place and I get this feeling like it's time to go, or if I'm around people, anything, and that gut feeling comes back of like, this is done. This isn't helping me anymore. I'm not growing. I have to let go. And I do. And I listen to it. And that blind faith and trust has gotten me further in my career than persevering through those feelings, And I believe that with creative artistry, with developing yourself as a musician, as a creative, in any field, doesn't have to be music, but this concept of ripping it up and starting again and rerouting, discovering something different, experimenting and following joy blindly. It's important to take leaps of faith outside of what's comfortable. And maybe you're in a band that is comfortable and you've gotten to a certain point, but it's like you don't know when to let go. You have that gut feeling that you need to go, but you're not listening to it because, oh, we've got this amount of success, like I just need to keep pushing against this. And this is from a fear-based mindset. It's from a lack mindset, a fear of failure, a fear of missing out. I think that we can attach our ego to that in ways, and it keeps us stuck and it prevents us from evolving, because sometimes the projects that you're working on are going to get you to a certain point, and then you're going to break off from that and you do something else, and that other thing elevates you further. Like before Cruelly, my band, I was in a band called Saturated, and the guitarist for Cruelly was in that band, and I hated it. You know, our bassist was awful and really challenged me as a woman, really challenged my self-esteem when it came to, you know, presenting my ideas and things like that and feeling confident in that. But I am a very combative person when it comes to, you know, masked misogyny, because I used to be a tradie and I had to be around grown men, and I learnt to defend myself in those ways. So it got to that point where I just got that gut feeling. I'm like, this is not for me. I don't like how I'm being treated. I don't like the music that we're playing. I don't like the ideas that I'm coming up with, because they're coming from a place of, I need to prove myself to our bassist, or I need to prove myself in some kind of way to show that I'm good enough. But I already know that I'm good enough. I already know that this isn't what I want to do. And I know that if I did what I wanted to, that it would work. And so I left the band and I started Cruelly, and, you know, Bob's your uncle, we're doing really well. And I wouldn't have had that opportunity to spread my wings when it came to creative direction and marketing and, you know, concept creation, everything, and writing and performing. If I had stayed, I would have just been stuck, and it just would have gone nowhere, and it probably would have made me hate being a musician. But I also understand how scary it can be when you haven't tried to start again, or you haven't made that jump yet, and you're kind of at that jump off point, but you're holding yourself back because you're like, well, I don't know what's going to happen next. I don't know if I'm going to be able to do something as good, or I don't know if I'm going to be able to meet who I need to meet or do what I need to do in order to get to where I want to be. I think that if you have the intention to do this, and you have the intention to uncover that creative spirit within you, then you will do it. That determination and that passion can drive you so much further when you do let go, when it's time to let go. And I'm so glad that I learned that, because I am so much better off, and I'm in an exponentially better position than I was a couple years ago when I was in that other band. And, you know, I made a video about being alone, and some people got that, you know, a bit misconstrued. Like, the video was about being comfortable in your own presence when you're somebody that escapes. And I think that not letting go can be a form of escapism as well. You know, having to walk away from situations or people, if it means that you have to be alone, there's probably going to be something in that time that teaches you something. And even if it's just knowing what you will and will not tolerate from situations or other people, and, you know, working on yourself beliefs and your core beliefs, and having that time to reflect and figure out who you are authentically, then you can actually figure out what direction you want to head in, and you will face roadblocks in that direction too. And it's about navigating through that, knowing that your intention is to be happy, your intention is to be an authentic creator, and to create something that fulfills you, that you're proud of. And that intention can carry you really far if you know when to redirect and when to cut things off and when to let go of things that are holding you back. I think that big decision that I made, leaving an entire group of friends, a band, a house, a lifestyle, before I came to the city, I don't know what my life would have looked like if I had stayed, because after I left, I found out that I wasn't really loved or accepted in that space anyway. And it was reflective of how I felt about myself. I didn't love or accept myself in that space. I didn't feel like I was deserving of that. But starting again allowed me to build that self-confidence and that core self-belief that I deserve better, and that I deserve to be accepted and loved, and I deserve to go where I am accepted and loved. And now I am, because that's what I would tolerate, That's what I deserve. That's what I believe I deserve. And so that is my reality. And, I don't have time for people who disrespect me, and people who, try to bring me down, and trust me, they do. It's wind blowing past me. It doesn't affect me, because I figured out that it's, a reflection of them and not me. And what's important is that I'm head down doing the work on things that I find my passion, things that make me happy, things that I know are setting me up for that next step forward. That's important. Other people's opinion isn't important like that. And so it's easier to focus on these lessons, I suppose, and practicing letting go of things when it's time. And sometimes it takes time, but the important thing is recognizing it, and actually recognizing it, not knowing that it's there, and maybe telling your friends that you confide in, and I think I need to leave, but this and but that. It's actually acknowledging, I feel like it's time to go. This isn't fulfilling me anymore. It's not serving me anymore. And then in your own time, taking action and not staying stuck. Because the longer that you stay stuck, the longer it will take to achieve what you want to achieve, and we only get a limited amount of time on this earth. Not that there is a rush, because there isn't. It's up to you, and at the end of the day, you're making this decision for you. Nobody else can do that for you. And and by being alone, and you don't have to be alone. It's not a necessity to know yourself. I think just spending time by yourself. You can still have friends, of course, but it is really important to spend that time to be introspective, to question yourself and your morals and your values, and who are you? Do you like that? Do you like who you are? I like who I am because I am willing to rip it up and start again. I think that it's a really great quality that I have, and it's gotten me so far in my career. I'm not afraid to start again. If I lost everything tomorrow, you're not going to catch me, maybe I'll be sad about it for a couple of days, but I'm going to keep going. I'm going to do that for the rest of my life. And it's because I wouldn't rather be doing anything else. I like that about me. I think that it's a really great trait that I have. And, if that's something that you feel like you want to, anyone can do it. Never used to be like this. I always knew that there was something inside of me, but I thought that I was going to be another case of letting go of aspirations and dreams and just growing old and never even trying. And never trying is so much worse. And I'm so glad that I am trying. And I hope that you try too. And I hope that you let go when you need to let go. And I hope that you find grace with yourself, and I hope that you find traits in yourself, and I hope that you build traits in yourself that you adore and admire and love. You deserve that. And I really hope that this video has helped, and I will see you in the next one.